A jam-packed weekend of track activity continues here at Road America with race number 2 for GT America, powered by AWS. Yesterday, Memo Gidley took one step closer to clinching the SRO 3 championship, but he'll have to fight off Tony Davis, Ross West, Scott Blind, and more to try and claim yet another victory and inch closer to that title. Hello, my name is Ryan Marine. Calvin Fish is alongside, and it's Amanda Busick down in the pit lane. Yesterday, saw a dominant performance, especially early on from Memo Gidley, but Tony Davis came on strong late, set the fastest lap in the race, Calvin. That means he starts on pole for race 2.
Yeah, we just did a walk through the paddock, and we understand that Tony started on fresh sticker Pirelli P0s yesterday, whereas Memo was on scrubs, and he lost a bit of pace towards the end. So Ski Autosport have gone down to Pirelli, put a fresh set of tyres on there. So we'll see if that changes things in terms of whether Gidley can escape and getting around our pole sitter. But Davis certainly had a ton of pace there yesterday.
As you saw moments ago, temperatures here picture perfect. Nice and warm to be outside, a nice breeze as well, which will be a headwind down the front straightaway, but a tailwind in the run to turn 5. There is Memo Gidley with the fist pump. He's ready to go. You know the Ski Autosports team is as well. We were joking with the team bosses just a little while ago, weren't we, that he's going to have to earn his paycheck today and actually pass somebody.
Exactly, but second 4 race win streak that he's put together this year. The meet in that sandwich is where he did get beat by Tony Davis at race 1 at Sebring. So see if Tony can kind of keep that pattern going and win this one.
And don't sleep on the second row of the grid either. Ross West in the Corvette set to roll off third today. He was supposed to do that yesterday, but a delay on the grid meant he had to start at the back of the SRO 3 pack. Still had the third fastest race lap yesterday, so has the inside of the second row start. And Scott Blind next to him on the podium for the first time since the first race of the season. And he is driving with a lot of confidence right now. Behind them, Kyle Washington and Mark Muzzo set to share the third row. And you know, Kyle, given the opportunity, he's going to go on the attack. He also benefits from the fact that he's doing multiple programs here this weekend, so he's had plenty of seat time.
Yeah, and it's a little bit warmer conditions there. You can see Kyle kind of trying to create a little bit of air coming into the cockpit as they sit still on the grid with a lot of heat dissipation coming up from the drivetrain that's been fired up already.
Well, as mentioned, Tony Davis is the pole sitter. His longtime driver coach, Scott Andrews, is standing by with Amanda.
And as you can see, Scott has his race suit on because he'll be racing alongside Tony Davis for our 3-hour race in GT World Challenge later on. But right now, you get to be driver coach from Tony Davis. We were just talking about how fast Tony looked towards the end of that race, clearly in the pole position here today. What did you see out of Tony that you liked, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, I love working with Tony. I'm really having a good time. And he's just so coachable. And he's quite a natural driver, to be honest. So, yeah, we're just going through like really the fine details of really just getting him to become a better driver and hopefully one of the best AMs in the world at some point. So, yeah, basically just keep looking at the fine details. You know, it's a very new team. We're extremely new to this super high level of competition, and obviously this weekend we've jumped in the deep end in the GT World Challenge, and you know, we're juggling both. So it's not easy for Tony because he's in the non-Evo in this, which is quite a different car to drive. Actually, it's still a Ferrari, but very different car to drive compared to the Evo on the limit. So he's doing a great job jumping back and forth, and yeah, credit to him really.
Thank you, Scott. And what won't be easy is also having Memo Gidley on the outside of him headed into turn 1, guys.
That is for sure. Memo has been dynamite on race starts all season long. Here's a look at the starting grid for the second race of the season. Tony Davis, as we've chronicled, does start from pole position today. Memo Gidley for company on the front row, Ferrari and Audi. Then it's the Corvette of Ross West next to Scott Blind for Ruckus Racing, that brightly colored Porsche 911. Kyle Washington also in a 911 for GMG Racing. Next to him, Mark Muzzo, Ferrari Challenge veteran for our Ferry Motorsport. Then it's Mirko Schultes, former Petit Le Mans class winner. Dave Musial Sr. alongside. They'll start 7th and 8th. Tony Ferraro back for the first time in a bit. He'll have Lawrence Tomlinson next to him. That GT2 Ginetta was an absolute rocket ship yesterday. Finished 3rd overall. Cup Class Ginetta belonging to David Lecco starts in the 6th row. And the GT4 runner here today, Craig Lumsden, will join him. They'll roll off 11th and 12th overall, respectively. That's the field. How about the playing field? This circuit, Road America, some iconic corners, including this one, the Carousel, which heads down to the Kink, which heads to Canada Corner. You get the point. There are plenty of places here that you just have to say the name, and race fans around the world can conjure up the image.
Yeah, we've had a big break in the schedule, but to come here is certainly worth the wait. There you see the layout of the circuit, just over 4 miles. It's the longest circuit that we run on all season long, 14 corners, super challenging, 171 feet of elevation change just adds to all of that, but heavy brake zones, lots of overtaking opportunities, and those big straightaways certainly played in the hands of Lawrence Tomlinson yesterday. He had a great run, great battle to the line. It's actually a sprint to the line with he and Scott Lind. Let's see how deep he can get into that SRO 3 field again here today.
That was remarkable yesterday, but I suppose having 800 horsepower at your disposal around this track, maybe more than any other that we go to, is a big boost to that ultimate lap time.
Yeah, it's certainly going to play into the benefits of having a GT2 machine is with these straightaways here, and obviously bit toastier conditions today, so let's see who makes the right adjustments in terms of getting the balance on the race car. And again, as we said, Gidley starting on fresh sticker tires here today.
Field starting to come into 2x2 alignment. Lights off on the safety car, so it will scamper off to the right and into the pit lane, leaving the field under the control of Tony Davis, who's done this a couple of times this year, lead the field to green. He's never done it, though, on the Sunday, on race 2. The pole earned with the fastest race lap in race number 1. Ferrari and Audi on the front row. Corvette and Porsche on row number 2. It's a Ferrari and a Porsche in the 3rd row as the field makes its way into the acceleration zone, and Tony Davis gets a pretty nice start. Mamo Gidley looking to consolidate 2nd place here despite the challenge from Ross West, who you can't even really see that car, just the rear wing, but that's the black and silver Corvette that's settled nicely into 3rd place.
Tell you what, Davis was really putting the squeeze on Mamo. They're coming up to the start line, and I thought they were going to touch at one point, but they keep it clean. And he gets the jump. Mamo got a huge jump yesterday, but right now he's right in the footsteps of Tony Davis as they head down towards the Moraine sweep in that brake zone for turn 5.
He'll want to capitalize on the fresh rubber here. Gets a nice jump, it would appear, out of turn 3. This is the long drag down to turn 5. One of the great passing opportunities around the circuit, and Gidley sees that opportunity, throws it up the inside, gets it woed down, and the veteran Mamo Gidley goes back to the lead and immediately covers off the attack from Davis.
Oh, that was close. Look at Washington off the road there in turn 5 on the exit. Really tight there between Tony Davis and Gidley as Gidley tried to protect that left-hand lane, and there was almost a touch, a little bit sideways there through turn 6 as well for Davis.
Huge slide from him. That's left him vulnerable to Ross Schwest. Scott Blind in the conversation too. Gidley has a nice gap after getting around Davis back in turn number 5, but the rest of the field still in the midst of the fray.
Again, Gidley's experience. Call them cold tires, but tires that aren't absolutely in their sweet spot just yet. He gets up on the wheel early. He's established the gap despite those being sticker tires. He's got the confidence to put them all down. Getting temperature touching 80 degrees right now, so a lot warmer than we had here yesterday when it was an overcast and damp kind of day.
Schultes a little wide down in Canada Corner. Might be having an intermittent issue with his transponder because that car is shown down in 11th, but very much still in the fight right now. Kyle Washington taking a peek up the inside for position. Oh, and Washington goes off super wide again at the exit of 14, kicks up all that dust. Now we wait to see if Washington emerges on the other side. Yes, he does. Boy, that was a hairy moment, though, for Kyle. Hopefully he didn't pick up any damage from that off-track excursion.
Yeah, he had one down in turn 5 on this opening lap, so it's not been the calm start to this race. Here's Tomlinson in that GT2 Ginetta. Almost gets to the inside and the flank of Kyle Washington, but Washington sweeps across and takes the apex and claims that position back.
Kyle wanted no part of that. Make sure that he gets back ahead of the Ginetta so we can set off in pursuit of Dave Musial Sr. That is for position. SRO 3 cars at the front of this field, but as we saw yesterday, Tomlinson should have the pace to challenge up toward the very front of the overall field. Mutso forced on the defensive here. Schultes is on the attack.
He is looking feisty right now. Typically, Mirko kind of evolves through the race and gets faster as the race continues. That was the opposite here yesterday, so I'm not sure if he had an issue with the race car or not.
I agree. Faltered late in the going, gave up several positions as the pace dropped away, but they've had a night to tune on that Callaway Corvette, get it closer to the window, and right now at least, Mirko looking pretty strong as he continues to pressure Mutso.
Promising here for Tony Davis. Yes, he's lost the track position up front, but he's keeping Gidley in touch. Getting Gidley on those fresh set of tires. It's going to give him a bit more performance towards the end, so he's not going to fall off as much as he did yesterday.
How about that move from Gidley? Saw the door open and immediately was able to punch his way through.
Yeah, I mean, he's just got that confidence. I mean, it's all down to the experience. Nemo's been there, done that so many times. So for Tony Davis, he's just got to get into his rhythm, get into his comfort zone. As we've seen many times before this year, he can certainly get the job done in his laps yesterday late, and they're going sensational to claim that fast lap and the pole position for today.
Ross Schwest and Scott Blind, they're sitting third and fourth at the moment. Both had good sectors here. Schwest did the best first sector. Blind answered with the best middle sector of anyone on this lap. Coming around to complete the second lap, the gap just 1.2 seconds. Davis, to your point, Cal, has been able to match the race leader, Memo Gidley. Here comes Schultes, though. The battle is for 5th place, looking up the inside of Mutso.
Yeah, top four have just laid down laps within 0.2 of a second of each other, so it's very tight up front right now, and this is a great battle coming down the hill into turn 3. Mirko likes to give it up.
Mirko loves the cut and thrust of a duel, but a very clean racer. Mutso as well, lots of experience in single-make Ferrari racing, but running the full campaign in GT America for the first time. Here comes Mirko Schultes. Oh, that's going to be super close at apex, and Mirko just barely able to bail out.
He was committed there, and I think it was more Mutso just creating a little bit of wiggle room there when they got down towards the apex. I'm not sure if he's got some eyes in the sky telling him there that it's tight to the inside. Terry Borscheller is his long-term coach. I saw him in the coffee shop off the rail this morning, saying we're having a solid weekend once again. But that was a great move just to give a little bit of breathing room for both cars to coexist.
Mark was so strong on debut back at Sonoma, beginning of the season. Finished second in the first race of the season, but has only had one podium finish since then, running in 5th at the moment. But he's got his hands full with the veteran Mirko Schultes.
Through the kink, 145, 150 on the X here. The run down, you're going to touch almost 160 down into the brake zone for Canada corner, turn 12. That's what you're looking at right here. The tire strings to the outside. Mirko misses his brakes a little bit, runs out wide. Just rushed up on Mutso there. You got, wonder if you got a bit of aero wash as well. Higher speeds around there, that really has an effect on these race cars. Even in GT4 competition this weekend, I had drivers stating the same thing.
That miscue gives a bit of a reprieve for the Canadian Mark Mutso, driving for the Canadian SRO Motorsports team. Good to have them back on a more permanent basis. They were fixtures in this paddock for many, many years. Hopefully the start of things to come, but at the moment, Mutso, that gap that he had built momentarily with the miscue from Schultes, that's disappeared. He is back under pressure again. Same can be said for Dave Musial Sr. Under pressure here from Kyle Washington.
For Kyle there, the inside lane was blocked with Musial Sr.'s kind of line there in the middle of the road. He could sense that Kyle was on the attack, so you just got to set him up, get a good clean exit hit, get a run down the moraine sweep. He goes to the right-hand side with that head of steam he's got. Tomlinson is there in the shadows as Mirko makes a nice move here this time. Got close last time around. Mutso's going to do the crossover here and get to his flank, maybe claim that position back. Washington is around Musial Sr.
That was for position there. Kyle Washington up to 7th place. But Mutso used that crossover perfectly, saw the move coming, laid back, was able to get the power down nice and early, had the inside line under the bridge at turn 6, and although Schultes temporarily had the move made, he wasn't able to hang on to it.
Yeah, it's a nice little battle. They're having fun out there, that is for certain. That's the top 5 spot here in this race. Up front, Gidley laid down a terrific lap last time by, and he's continuing to do purple sectors here on this lap, so he's really feeling it now with the extra grip provided by that new set of tires.
He
Go
did.
very wide there through the kink.
Continues his pursuit of Mark Mutso. You're right, though, Gidley. Now a 2-second lead. Here he comes. And it's becoming a fight for second and third, not so much a fight for the lead. Ross Schwest has been flying here in race number 2 today.
Yeah, he just went purple first sector. Blinn went purple second sector, so Davis has got to be on his toes here.
And remember, this is the warm-up act for Tony. He makes his GT World Challenge America debut later on today. Heard from his co-driver, driver coach, Scott Andrews, just a little while ago. It is an awfully big task for this team to step up, live pit stops and everything that comes along with that, but Tony's shown good pace. He's had plenty of seat time, and we know Scott is a known quantity. If you follow sports car racing closely, you know when he's given an opportunity, he tends to do big things.
Oh, I think he's very underrated or a little bit off the radar. Scott Andrews is an absolute ace behind the wheel of one of these cars. And he mentioned to Amanda there in that pre-race interview that they got 2 different specs of Ferrari. So this is the non-Evo car, which will be a little bit trickier to drive, a bit more edgy, whereas the Evo car that they have for the GT World Challenge America race today will have a bit more downforce on it.
How difficult do you think that is to bounce back and forth? The differences aren't huge, but they still have an impact, and you have to adjust to that each time. Remind yourself which car it is that you're driving.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we see drivers jump from different disciplines, but even when it's the subtlety of just an Evo versus a non-Evo car, that'll react a little bit differently, and that's where a pro can just kind of take that in this stride. And an AM driver, like they're trying to create Tony to be the best at, is gonna, you know, struggle that a little bit more, but he's got a fight on his hands here. Gidley with that fresh set of tires just taken off now. He's really hitting his sweet spot. Davis is gonna feel the heat from behind. That lap, Schwest was 3/10 quicker than him.
Heard from the team that the qualifying tires that Memo used for race 1 yesterday, they had given up the ghost by the end of 40 minutes of racing. That's why we saw Davis close in so rapidly late in the going. Just over 10 minutes gone in this 40-minute sprint. Let's head back down to the pits and check in with Amanda.
Washington likes to drive on the edge, but he's also had his hands full quite literally with that steering wheel, making some adjustments to get that Porsche right into the settings that he wants. But the team said that we know how Kyle is. We were talking about, kind of joked along with them if we were working on any of those off-road settings, but just laughing along with the intensity of Kyle Washington and how much focus he has in his racing career.
Kyle's not uncomfortable in an off-road setting. He started his motorsport career doing that type of racing, trophy trucks and things of that nature. But over the last couple of years, he's turned into a race-winning driver in GT World Challenge America, certainly in GT America too, where he's contended for championships at the GT3 level. And Tom Sargent, his co-driver for GT World Challenge and driver coach, I think deserves a lot of credit for ironing out some of the creases and turning Kyle into a more finished product.
Yeah, certainly a great combination that they have, great chemistry between the two. Sort of like 7 drivers set their fastest lap on that last tour, so some of the mid-pack runners are starting to find their feet here a little bit. Gidley up front continues to impress. Scott Blinn has really got great form here this weekend. Love what he did yesterday in that little battle between 2 different classes and Lawrence Tomlinson. As you said, Ryan, first podium since the opening round of the championship.
Now, Scott, unlike so many of his competitors, has been active. He's also racing in Carrera Cup North America. This is speed through the kink. Memo Gidley, 139 miles an hour. Kyle Washington, 138. Tony Davis, 137. And shows some commitment.
Yeah, it does. It gets your attention. You really got to thread the needle there and hit all of your marks. Otherwise, you'll run out of road. You do have that grasscrete there on the exit that helps a little bit. Creates a bit of a safety net, but nonetheless, super challenging.
What's the fastest car you ever drove here?
Oh, good question. Maybe just the Indy Lights car, or ARS as it was known back there.
What do you think your turn-in speed at the kink would have been?
Probably similar. I think probably 150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
gets your attention?
It does, yeah. It's a fun corner. It really is. Just a fun racetrack. I just loved it. Just there's so much meat on it, and I found some of the corners just so important to have a good balance in the race car. Turn 3 that they're coming into right now, I'd call this more like a long duration tight corner. You seem to have the car loaded for a long time. It's hard to keep the balance the same all the way through. So you've really got to work hard on the setup to get the rewards on the stopwatch.
One thing that stands out about the layout here is how infrequently corners flow into another corner. It's typically separated by a straightaway, and I'm trying to come up with another track other than maybe a street course where you have so many corners that are separated from one another by straight sections, full throttle sections.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Obviously, the other side of that is you come up over the crest here into turn 6, and turn 7's immediately upon you, but normally you have time to think about it, which can be a good and a bad thing.
This is our race vision powered by AWS Circuit Performance, showing that in Sector 1, which is a couple long straightaways, not a surprise to see the GT2 car really shining. That's Lawrence Tomlinson in the Ginetta. Then in Sector 2, where you need to have some downforce, looks like the Porsche is quite strong. Scott Blind is the quickest through there. Final sector is a nice combination of quick corners, straightaways, nice braking zone for Canada Corner, and Mabo Gidley is the quickest in his Audi in that third sector. There is Blind, still sitting at the tail of this fight. Gidley has left them now to the tune of 3.6 seconds. Davis, though, not really under a whole lot of pressure per se, but Schwest is right there. He'd be ready to capitalize if Tony put a foot wrong.
Yeah, I think all three of those drivers in that little battle are being so consistent here, not making any mistakes, but we're not even halfway through this race yet, so have to wait and see if the balance stays with them as we dig a little bit deeper, and it is a lot warmer here today. So again, what sort of adjustments did the teams and engineers make to make sure their driver is comfortable for the full 40 minutes?
Gidley looks comfortable right now, no doubt about that. Extends the lead only by a tenth or so, but we've seen this from him quite a bit, Calvin, this season. He'll race out, build a lead, and then just manage it like the veteran that he is.
Yeah, and as they run, the championship will remain open heading into Barber Motorsports Park. I mean, Gidley came into this race with an 82-point lead over Tony Davis. If he leads by over 100, the title is his, but he's going to be just shy of that number, so the championship battle will continue. But what a season he's put together. Just amazing, looking for his 9th victory here today.
Great team, Ski Autosports, with the engineering talent right there. Rosella watching on. This is how we're used to seeing Rosella in Ferrari red, although it's an Audi, of course, now, but for many, many years. But look at this with Lord March at Goodwood, dressed up for the occasion. I'm sure she'll be embarrassed to know that ended up on the broadcast, but they've been good sports. Plus, a little revenge for you, Calvin, when they keep trotting out that cardboard cutout of you.
The cowboy hat with the silver leathers on just will not go away. My daughter, Livy, got to see it firsthand at Road Atlanta and had a big giggle about that one. But, yeah, we'll do it. My friend there, Phil Creighton, who's Rosella's partner there, found that and left it on the truck for everyone to enjoy.
Well, special trip for sure to go to Goodwood, and is on my bucket list, no doubt about it. Whether it's the hill climb or the revival, just a special occasion for fans of motorsport and fans of history.
Looks like Schwest may be a little bit closer to Davis. They climb the hill.
I think you're right. They have some traffic coming up. We saw Gidley get around the GT4 car of Craig Lumsden. Now it's the turn of Davis and Schwest. Blind might be really, oh, that was great sportsmanship by Lumsden. He stayed well out of the way to make sure he didn't interfere too much with that battle. Not sure anyone gained or lost much in that exchange.
Schwest moving around, trying to distract Tony Davis there, but he's hitting his marks. He's going to be coached through this by Scott Andrews in terms of the pressure he's feeling. Probably a little bit disappointed that they couldn't hold on to Gidley.
Meanwhile, Schwest is coached by Aaron Povaledo. who has helped him not just as a driver coach and co-driver over the years, but also to run the team. Meanwhile, Lawrence Tomlinson has finally been able to find a way past Kyle Washington. Kyle, even though this isn't for class position, would like to get this back. He's not someone who likes to be passed.
Yeah, he knows the pros and cons of a GT3 car versus a GT2, and he knew that Ginetta was going to be quick there, but he thought, well, I got extra downforce, so I can outbrake him, but Lawrence was up to the task and protected that nicely. Lawrence is really enjoying this. I mean, he'd really love to embrace some other manufacturers to come and race against his own Ginetta, but this is a great car. It looks really solid on the racetrack, looks beautiful, but performs well. Just really seems to have a great, stable platform.
Won't see Lawrence at Barber, unfortunately. He had pre-existing commitments there, but will return for the finale at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Barber's probably not the easiest place to drive that car either.
No.
In terms of the twists and turns of that circuit.
That's a place where if you have the option to crank in downforce, you do. Very much the opposite of this, where every turn seems to flow into another. But it's been a great addition to the calendar. Fan turnout has been good. Drivers seem to enjoy going there, and the facilities are phenomenal. Of course, we'll be going there without George Barber this year, the founder of the track, who lent his name to it. Did so much to promote road racing in the southeastern United States.
Yeah, it's an amazing facility, just something very special. We rave about Road America, but Barber's high on the list as well.
That museum is phenomenal, especially if you like motorcycles, but also Lotus race cars, largest collection of Lotus race cars in the United States. And some of the most eye-catching and memorable landscaping you will find anywhere, not just at a racetrack.
Tony Davis in there super deep. I think he shallowed his angle of approach there, recognized he maybe missed his braking point just a little bit, but survives it and keeps the track position climbing the hill. He's feeling the pressure right now. I mean, Schwester's right there, not letting him relax at all, and Blinder's closed in once again. Looked like he dropped back a couple of car lengths, but it's compressed once again in this battle.
And halfway through the race now, you would think it would be about now that the fact that he's starting on the qualifying tires, he might be beginning to feel that compared to yesterday when he started on the stickers.
Yep. Wait and see how that plays out. What an awesome corner that is. Just that long duration really puts a lot of energy into those left side tires through there with a continual load through the carousel, and it doesn't get any easier when you then hit the high-speed kink. The sounds of these cars when they whistle through the trees here at Road America.
It's great, and that's now a part of the track you can get to as a spectator. That wasn't always the case. I haven't been coming here quite as long as you, Cal, but I know when I first made the trip, which I think would have been 2008 or so, there were parts of this racetrack you just couldn't get to as a punter, as a fan. But that's really changed in the last 5-10 years with a lot of paths that have gone in. You can walk it, you can bike it, golf carts, of course. And it's really changed the viewing experience for the race fan. If you haven't been here in a while, you might be surprised with how much access there is around the circuit.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I was actually here for a test about a couple of months ago and was able to explore every single corner and get out there and view the race cars going around. It was really fun, and just continue to improve the facility in every aspect. Some of the best concessions and food you'll find anywhere at a racetrack in North America.
My favorite place to watch trackside is out of Canada corner toward turn 13, Billy Mitchell Bend, tails away. You can really get a sense for the speed of the cars, how on edge they are as well. Cool place to go and watch from. Meanwhile, we have a 30-second post-race time penalty that's been handed down to Tomlinson. Good news, I suppose, is that's the only car in its class, but pre-race procedure violation.
Yeah, there's certain parts, 5 minutes to go, the car is to be on the deck, and then just one team personnel with the car, and then at the 1 minute mark, you have to leave. So run afoul of something there. But as you said, it's just one car in the class, so create too many tears, I would think, within the group.
I'm sure they enjoyed the overall podium, such as it was. Not sure that actually gets celebrated, but they can say they were 3rd overall yesterday. That probably goes out the window here with that penalty now. Nevertheless, front runners working their way through.
It's going to be tight there for Blind.
Yep.
Just gets through. Leko did a nice job of getting out of the way.
Blind, by the way, has been warned for track limits abuses, so that makes this pursuit of the 2 cars ahead of him a little bit more complicated, more difficult.
Just got clarification that they may have done a tire pressure adjustment after that 5-minute mark, so I believe that's what the penalty is for on Lawrence Tomlinson.
Makes some sense. Watching David Leko now in his Cup class Ginetta. Not quite the power of its GT2 cousin, but by all accounts a thrill to drive, great handling race car. This is the backup chassis that they actually got from Team L&T, Lawrence Tomlinson's team, after an accident earlier this weekend. But talking to David Leko, just thrilled to be here racing in GT America. Would love to see some other cars join the class, hoping to fly the flag a little bit, showcase how much fun it can be. But intention is to be at the rest of the races on the calendar.
Yeah, I think if the smile is any indication after every race this year, he's always got a big one. So I think he's certainly enjoying the experience despite the lack of competition in his category right now.
Still very new to motorsports. Got introduced to it actually while he was living in Indianapolis for a brief period of time. Grew up in St. Louis, but now calls Austin, Texas home. Had a buddy, though, in Indy that was involved in grassroots type of racing and kind of got his attention. Started doing some various track days in Texas, and it's all built up into this. And here are the 2 Ginettas side by side, giving you a look at the difference between the cousins.
Lawrence must feel he's got some decent downforce to stick that around the outside through the carousel, so he's got the confidence to make that move. Here comes Washington with a big head of speed there through the kink. Stay in the footsteps of Lawrence Tomlinson here and try and use the braking ability down into Canada corner.
Well, this is what we saw in the fight for 3rd overall yesterday between Scott Blend and Lawrence Tomlinson. Scott could close in this section of the track, actually got around Lawrence on the final lap, but it's right here as Lawrence turns through turn 14 and puts that foot down, that gap starts to extend once again because of all the power available in the GT2 car. Tomlinson will be enjoying this for sure. We mentioned Terry Borcheller, who is serving as a driver coach here this weekend. Amanda has caught up with the champion driver.
Standing by with Terry Borchella. Calvin was telling the story how he saw you at Off the Rail this morning, so very popular place. But right now trying to get Mark back in this game. I know you were talking about the past that Mirko Schultes had on him, but you've worked with Mark for such a long time. Have you seen him grow in this paddock so far?
Well, this is only his 2nd year in pro racing, so his composure's always been good, even in the challenge stuff that he used to do with the amateur racing. But he's just a great guy, really good person, great character, and a really good racer. Sometimes I got to poke him a little bit to get him going, but he's a very good racer. We drive very similar. He's really smooth behind the wheel. Marcus is also in the Corvette, is a really good experienced racer, and we got Washington coming behind him, so he's got his work cut out for him still. And I think I saw you at Off the Rails as well.
I had to pick up Calvin, who graciously picked up my order as well this morning. But Terry, we may see you guys later in the season, but there's something that you're trying to push ahead for next year. What's that?
Well, I'm still thinking I'm not too old to go racing, so I'm hoping that I get something going in SRO. I love being in the paddock here. It's a lot of fun. So I just want to do something before I get too old.
Well, guys, as we've talked about yesterday, often we see drivers advance out of this series into Pirelli or into our GT World Challenge race. We'll see.
It could happen. He was a race winner in GT4 America as recently as 2023 when he finished third in that championship in the M class. So absolutely, why not? And if Terry can race at his age, Calvin, why can't you?
Eyes.
All right.
Don't see so good any longer. But
they
no.
have doctors for that, you know.
I know. But no, Terry still has that passion, a bit like Mamo. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be watching someone like Mamo Gidley and Johnny O in recent years just totally excel still at their age and point of their career. So he's still got the game. He told me that he drove a challenge car here recently and ran a tow 6 lap time. So that's pretty impressive around this place.
Yeah, that's moving. No question about it. This fight continues. A couple of drivers, actually, with Ferrari Challenge experience here in this duo. Davis more recently than Roche West. Davis has done well here. Lost the lead, yes, on the opening lap. But he settled into a nice rhythm, and he's been able to absorb all the pressure that Roche West can throw his way.
Still there, though. He's just hanging on. Just seems like the Ferrari's got enough performance, and Tony's done a nice enough job of not opening up the door. Great to see Ross back. Missed the rounds at Road Atlanta due to the impending birth of his third daughter. So congratulations to that family there.
Bit of a baby boom in the paddock here as of late. You mentioned earlier the championship situation as we run. Mamo Gidley en route, it would seem, to his 9th win of the season. With Tony Davis sitting in second place, the lead would extend to 89 points, which keeps it alive mathematically going into the final 4 races of the season. But it sets up a situation where Mamo could potentially clinch in the first race of the weekend at Barber Motorsport Park.
Tell you what, though, I think Scott Blynn's on the move. He's currently 5th in points. He should overtake Mark Mutzel with the way they run right now. And Carl Washington is not that far down the road in terms of points. The car sits back in 7th, so it could be a big swing here today with Blynn's performance here. Podium yesterday. Top 5 run going right now.
By the way, a win today, 9 on the season, would put Mamo Gidley 1 away from the most wins in a single season of SRO 3 GT America competition. George Kurtz scored 10 wins in 2022. No one has ever won more in the top class of this championship since its inception.
That takes a lot. I mean, it's down to obviously the skills of Mamo behind the wheel, Rosella engineering the car, and the team as well. They're a really great little team. Got a lot of experience, a lot of familiar faces there from various racing categories, but they all gel together nicely on these race weekends and do a great job for Kent and Melissa Hussey.
Gidley nice and smooth here as he continues around, lead up to 5 seconds. Decisive on the opening lap down to turn 5. Davis maybe would wish he hadn't left the door so open. Gidley came from quite a ways back, but he's confident on cold tires, confident on the brakes, filled the gap and pulled away.
Tough to beat.
Yep.
Just really tough to beat this year. Got the car in the sweet spot. They've got a great notebook to work from, having run the same circuits last year. And tell you, we talked about Mirko Schultes, just looking at the lap times here. Last time around, that was his fastest lap of the day. So that's more like it. We like to see Mirko he gradually gets into his rhythm and into the groove and runs fast lap times later in the going. Yesterday, we saw him fade a little bit.
Yeah, that was so out of character. We both had the same thought, I think, about the same time during that race yesterday to see Mirko dropping backwards. He's almost always coming forwards over the years.
A bit too far back there as you look at the intervals there graphically for him to probably threaten Scott Blynn, but nonetheless, super impressive performance. Great tune-up here for Tony Davis for this afternoon's 3-hour race. He'll be starting 75 minutes minimum drive time, so he's got some work to do. Schwest really quick there through turn 1.
Let's check in with Craig Lumsden, who is part of a dad and lad pairing here this weekend. His son Zach raced in GT4 America. Craig a little deep there in turn 5. But he's also seen Zach in the McLaren Trophy, so he was just on track a little while ago. A couple of guys super passionate about their racing. Craig in particular with a lot of experience in off-road racing, hill climbs, Pikes Peak in particular, which Zach followed in the footsteps earlier this year. Took part in that historic event.
Just loving being here, loving the experience of the paddock and the camaraderie and driving a fast race car around this awesome circuit. What's not to like?
Has to be extra fun when you know it's super well prepared. Colorado Motorsport with Flying Lizard Motorsport. I've run cars at a high level for a very long time, so you can just jump in and enjoy the thrill of driving a GT4 BMW. That's what Craig's doing here, as he's done all season long.
Yeah, keeping his eyes wide open as the overall leader here. Maymil Gidley is chasing him down one more time.
Ross Schwest just did his best first sector on this lap. That's something about these Pirelli tires, that they really don't drop off too much in performance as the fuel load burns off. There's still pace to be found late in a stint.
I think some of that was when he sent it through turn 1 as we watched, because that was an awesome corner that he put together there. Really closed up on Tony Davis.
Here comes Gidley. 3 more laps to go by my count, at least at the pace he's running right now. Davis across the line, 4.3 seconds back, so closing in a little bit, kind of like he did yesterday, but you get the sense that Maymil's just measuring his gap, keeping an eye on the mirror and making sure that he doesn't take any undue risk.
Yeah, lost about a second on that lap, the gap to the pack that are chasing, but I think some of that was down to dealing with that little bit of traffic there, which the chasers are now going to deal with as well. Oh, Schwest has got a run. He's got around Davis here. Davis trying to come back at him down through the Moraine sweep, but he's dropped a couple of car lengths. Wonder if that traffic did come into play.
Definitely a possibility. Schwest feels the pressure, covers off the inside line. Can Davis jump back to the inside? He's too far back. Ross Schwest is through, up to second place, and Davis's troubles aren't done yet. Scott Blind is coming in now quickly.
Yeah, so let's see what Schwest can do now. He's got clean air on the front end of that Corvette. Can he run away a little bit? Certainly been pushing, and finally found an opportunity. Blind there thinking, can I get a second podium of the weekend?
It's so tantalizingly close. He's right there. Just have to find a way by the Ferrari. Look at Schwest now that he's been turned loose. He's pulling away. Have to wonder what might have been for him yesterday. Remember, whatever the cause was, we're not sure, but they were late leaving the grid and he had to start at the back of the class. And a decent recovery, all things considered, but I don't think we ever really got to see the full strength out of Ross in that Corvette.
Yeah, I think the car is really quick over the lap, and Ross is really quick over the lap. I don't think it's got that kind of straightaway punch that some of the other manufacturers have. So you kind of get stymied, you kind of get in no man's land that you got potential pace, but you can't use it. But now he's got clean air. He's certainly putting it down.
We've been talking about the Ginettas that are here racing on site. For more on that story, let's head down to Amanda.
Yes, standing by with the team manager, Lewis Perry, and talking about the Ginettas here at Road America. And I know you handle more of the technical side on this operation. What have you found here for the Ginettas at Road America?
Was that, sorry, can you repeat that?
What have you found here for the Ginettas at Road America?
It's been good. It's been a really, really good event. Great to be out here with the GT2 and with David Lecco in the GTP8. It's nice to have some hot climate testing as well. We don't get this kind of weather in the UK, and if we do, it's it's very infrequent. So great to be out here to do some hot climate stuff, and great to showcase what we can do as well.
I know we were talking about plans and what the rest of the season might be for you guys. I hear we'll see you definitely at Indianapolis. How has this season been for the operation, and maybe future plans for the Ginetta?
It's been good. So first round was with Dollar Height Racing, and then after that, Lawrence wanted to run with a factory crew from the UK and some from our team in the US. So we switched to that for Road Atlanta and done the same here for Road America. Indy is confirmed and will be much the same crew. Barber, TBC at the minute. We've got some clashes in the UK, but we'll let you know on that soon. And as for the next year, don't know right now. We'll see what Lawrence thinks when he gets out of the car.
Thank you to Lewis. The team said that Lawrence's plan is trying to move around as much as he can to see us at Barber.
Okay, that would be great.
Ooh, little wiggle there on the entry of the carousel. He's still pushing here.
Yep, he's got a target acquired in the form of Mark Mutso. Remember, there is a 30-second post-race penalty coming to Lawrence Tomlinson.
He's just having fun though, right? He likes the racing, loves the duels. Nice piece on his social page last night, talking about the great battle he had with Scotland yesterday.
Tell you what, the car sounds great too. V8 grunt. Say it's right there with this Audi and the Huracan we see in GT World Challenge is maybe the best sounding race car here. Maybe the Callaway Corvette deserves a nod too.
Yeah.
Plenty of good choices though. That's one of the beauties of sports car racing and an SRO America weekend. If there's a brand that you have an affinity for, chances are it's racing in one of the many classes on a given weekend. White flag out for the leader, Memo Gidley.
Oh, that was a moment. Yeah, this car's starting to move around on him here. Just he talked the team talking about hot weather testing. Well, there's certainly a challenge in the driver right now. Car's getting a little bit squirrely. I saw him on the entry at the carousel have a moment, and he really pushed it there on the entry at turn one. And that's where that car does not have the downforce compared to Kyle Washington, who's now closed right up on him.
But it does have the power, as we've been talking about. So the gap on Washington starts to open up again. Makes it tough for Washington to try and get around. Look how late Kyle is on the brakes, though, using all that downforce to help arrest the speed.
Yeah, that's one thing where the downforce really plays into effect. It's not just through the corners, it's also into those brake zones. Just plants the tires into the blacktop and gives you that extra grip. Kyle using every inch of the road and a little bit more. You'll love this battle as well. He won't care that it's not for class position. He wants to try and figure out a way around the Ginetta.
Final lap of the race. This is for 7th and 8th on the road. Although, again, there will be a time penalty for the Ginetta. That will drop it down, but that's not what this is about here, is it? It's about a couple of hard-charging drivers having some fun at one of the great tracks around the world.
Yeah, Carl's got to time this. He should be a little bit quicker through the middle part of the apex of the Kings. We watch Gidley on his way, one corner to go.
Memo Gidley, one step closer to clinching the SRO 3 championship as he clears turn 14 for the final time. This is win number 9 of the season for Memo Gidley and Ski Autosports. The headlights flash as the checkered flag waves for Memo Gidley at Road America. Ross Schwest across the line. He fends off Tony Davis in the battle for 2nd and 3rd. Blind comes home in 4th. Mirko Schultes completes the top 5.
Wow, just dominance. Absolute dominance. Lawrence not up to full speed, so we believe Washington would have got around him.
Well, I would have thought so, but I don't see Kyle. He's not come across to get the checkered flag.
Wonder if there was an incident there.
Full course yellow also shown on, as you can see, 2 yellow flags there. I see that on timing and scoring too. I think you might be right.
Yeah, I wonder, he got to run through the Kings, so wait and see what's going on down in Canada corner and up to Billy Mitchell Bend possibly.
Now this could be, this is bad news for Kyle's position in the championship. He came in 3rd in points. Had been running in 6th, I believe, and will drop at least to 9th, possibly as far as 10th, which would bring him into the clutches of Mark Mutso, Scott Blind, Ross Schwest even, in terms of fighting for effectively 3rd in the points.
Just trying to look for Kyle Washington. It would be in this sector of the racetrack.
Here's Craig Lumsden. He's coming around to take the checker flag as well. Another weekend comes to a close for him. Hopefully more competition arrives at later points in the season. Seen a couple of different drivers, Jason Bell, Joe Petkus at various times, but Craig Lumsden's been the consistent presence. Adds another 25 points to his tally. And there's Tony Ferraro in the background. He does come through to finish in 9th. So Kyle Washington stopped somewhere in Sector 3.
It's going to tighten up those points.
Yes.
Big time between Blind and Kyle.
Gives an extra position to Mutso as well. Well, that's a bit of a mystery. What's not a mystery is Memo Gidley has found his way back to the winner's circle and now potentially is one race away from clinching the 2026 championship. He's one win away from tying the single season wins mark in SRO3 history in GT America. And he has plenty of time to break that record and then extend it before the season is through. Memo Gidley out of the car to celebrate with the Ski Autosports team.
Yeah, he still has that same enthusiasm. Winning never gets old. Just great performance, great execution by the whole group. Team does an awesome job preparing this race car. Delivering Memo the goods to go and do what he can do, win motor races.
You know, with all the success he's had in recent years, it's easy to forget just how much work he's had to do to get back in this position. Had that devastating crash at Daytona a decade plus ago, but he's put that behind him, and the smile is back on the face of Memo Gidley, who is there to talk with Amanda.
Memo Gidley making fun of us down here because we didn't have time to interview him yesterday. That's because we were waiting for this moment right here. And Memo, you think about just the race closer to a championship, and you've seen a lot of success in recent seasons, but to get alongside Ski Motorsports and the Hussies, how much extra incentive is there for you?
It's unbelievable. For me, the best situations I'm in is always racing for the best people. And Ken and Melissa and everybody from Ski Autosports, they're just the A-team, they're number one. And then we also got the Rowdy. And the Rowdy, as we know, is an awesome car, the R8. Unfortunately, they don't make it anymore, but it's a fantastic car. And it's just a pleasure to be out here at Road America. I've been here many years and all different things, and back to see some fans is great as well.
Have you got your tux yet?
No, do I have to have a tux?
Well, I don't know that answer to that, but I do want to bring in Rosella here. She's been alongside you for the last several seasons. And just to point out quickly, she was on the FaceTime with her mom and sister prior to this race, and I reminded her mom and sister what a legend she is out here.
No doubt, and the legend continues to grow. Here are the results for race number 2. 19 racing laps. Memo Gidley by 3.5 seconds over Ross West. Great move on Tony Davis to get the second spot today. Then it's Blind in 4th, Schultes in 5th, Mutso Musial the top 7. Tomlinson on adjusted time drops to 8th, Ferraro 9th. And Kyle Washington, understand there was an incident there on the final lap. He'll be credited with a 10th place result. But we do have the news that Kyle is okay. He's in the safety vehicle. That's the most important thing. David Lecco, 11th in his Racing Support Intergeneta Cup car. And then Craig Lumsden in 12th in the GT4 machine. Mentioned that there was an incident there on the final lap. And this might answer our questions here, Calvin. Fighting with Tomlinson at the time into the kick, and big spin there, and that is a heavy, heavy impact. Keep in mind, Kyle's got another race to come here today. Hopefully he's able to bounce back from that one.
Yeah, he's trying to get a run there. We talked about setting up, so we just cut away just momentarily before that one. We were watching the duo live. It's a biggie.
Okay, well, hopefully Kyle's doing all right, and hope to see him on the grid for the GT World Challenge America race coming up a little later on this afternoon, 1:30 local time here in the central time zone of the United States. 4 races still remain in the season for GT America powered by AWS, and the SRO 3 Championship very much now closing in on going the direction of Mamo Gidley. We pick up next at Barber Motorsports Park in September.